sense doors, and then the sixth sense basis with the objects. So anybody do this practice? Just camera, okay? Anybody do, when you hear the sound, do you note the sound? When you see something, do you note the seeing? When you smell something, do you note the smelling? Anybody do that? Contemplation of the sixth sense door. Yes or no? Nobody do. An answer? Nobody. Okay. So if you don't do the practice, this means that you listen, you go back, you don't do anything, right? So I think maybe she'll give you homework again. Like last time for Brahma Vihala, I should give you all homework so for you to fill in the form. Then you all will do some practice. Okay, the six sense doors are very important because it's something that we can perform at any time, like now. Yeah. So we are waiting for more people to join in. Okay, so it is something that easier than the five aggregates, and it's something easier than, because you don't need to purposely sit down in a meditation room, in a meditation seat, but you cannot the any objects that come to your mind through the five sense basis. If you want to note the mind basis is also good, but for the beginner, you should spend more time on the five physical sense first. Okay, so if you keep on noting the mind only, you might just forget to. The one thing about if you note the mind all the time, so your mind will just follow the monkey mind most of the time, unless you got a very strong mindfulness. So it's better that you all come back to this moment, not the sound, not the sight, not the smell, and so on. Okay, so I like to share one experience recently. Okay, because you can see, do you notice that I lost weight? I lost about 3 kg, 2 kg, because uh one, the nearby nunnery, they sent me the noodles. So I had the noodles together with the watermelon and together with the rice that is cooked overnight. And then here the electricity is always failure. So imagine three in one. The watermelon is very diluted, and then the noodles is very acid, and then with the overnight rice. So I have serious diarrhea, not to say serious, quite a little bit serious for 3 days. So about 2 days. So I noticed that at that time, I have no interest in food at all. Usually for one day, I don't eat anything, just drink some maybe oatmeal or some coffee. That's all. There's even smell something, the desire for the food does not arise at all. So it remind me of this contemplative sixth sense basis. It's not to say every time when the object come to your nose, the greed will be there, right? The greed will be there if there is condition for the greed. For example, if you are hungry or if you are feeling well, then you will feel greedy. Or especially when you're very hungry, the moment you smell the food, you will get even more hungry. All right. And if like my condition, my stomach, actually my mind is okay, my body is okay, only the stomach is not okay. So when the stomach is not okay, even though the sense object, the nose, get a good smell from the kitchen, then I realized that actually desire is not there, or if which is very rare, because every time, if you notice, our mind is like always want to eat this one, want to eat that one. It's like non-stop eating this, eating that. It's very difficult for the time, for the mind don't want to eat anything. Okay, so contemplating a sixth sense basis allow us to get to know the idea of non-self. You realize that whatever happened in your mind is depend on external object, and the external object is also non-self. External object will not come unless there's a condition. For example, if people cook, then there will be smell, right? If nobody cook, then no smell. And for example, now the workers are working outside, when they are bang, 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 then the sound is very noisy. So when they are conditioned, you can hear the sound. When the condition is not there, you cannot hear the sound. Of course, in our environment, we have all sorts of sound. You will hear the bird sound and also sound, but all the sound, sometimes you call it background sound, so it's not obvious. So when the sound is very strong, then the hearing consciousness will arise. So when you got the smell, then the smelling consciousness will arise. So of course, every day we see something, but sometimes something really grabs our attention. Then the seeing consciousness, you cannot the seeing consciousness. So all these internal object, external object, the sight, the sound, the smell, the taste, and the contact on the body, it allow us to get to know more of the idea of non-self. So that's why the contemplative six sense basis is actually very powerful, because you will get to know everything happen because of cause and effect. If there are no cause, there's no effect. All right. All right. So far, any question? I will show the screen. All right. Okay. So we'll continue the Visuddhimagga. Okay. Right. So now we already finished some of them. Now, remember we are talking about Abhidhamma because you are going to study Abhidhamma. Why do you want to study Abhidhamma? For those who didn't come for last week, Abhidhamma will give you lots of facts. Visuddhimagga will tell you how do you interpret and how do you practice those facts. So what is Abhidhamma? Abhidhamma will talk about things like, we call it Paramata. Sorry, Chinese phone. Okay, so, okay. You talk about Paramata means ultimate truth, like mind, matter, five aggregates, and then the six sense bases. And Vipassana will tell you how should we practice the both facts. So, or sometimes it shows the link between like mind and matter. We call it nama rupa, okay? Nama rupa, and so on. And in the Vipassana practice, we have this one, we call it Dhammanupassana. Conversion of the Dhamma, okay? So we have already gone through some of them, like five aggregates we already gone through. And then today we will continue with 16 bases and also 12 elements. And today we will include it all the way to 18 elements, all right? So all these are still use the word dhatu in Bali. And then this is when you meditate like this, you are developing the certain parts of the Bojjhanga, factors of enlightenment. And then the Satya will be Four Noble Truth. This one will be in other chapters. Now, last week we already, I think you all participate in this question. Why do we sometimes we not the why do we contemplating five aggregates, but sometimes why do we contemplate the six sense bases? Because the reason few is because of people. Some people like five aggregates, some people like six sense bases. Or because the Buddha is skillful, so Buddha will preach in many ways. But it's also because why the Buddha preach in many ways, because of inclination in the past life, okay, of the disciples. Because the Buddha can read the disciples' mind. Okay, their mind of the disciples. So that's why the Buddha, according to their inclination, the Buddha will preach either five aggregates or six sense bases. And also, if you notice, five aggregates might be not easy to meditate. Six sense bases are easy. All right. Now, five aggregate we mentioned previously because we have few things like material, feeling. Feeling, I think, is easier for everybody. So this is just a recap because we have few didn't come last week. All right. And then we have perception, but perception might not be easy to recap because perception, sometimes we use the word like memory, sometimes we use the word like nothing. It's actually quite general also. Okay. And also formation, we have 50 of them. So it's a big category. So it also might not easy for some of you. And consciousness, there are a lot of category in Abhidhamma, all right? But compared to five aggregates, and if you compare with our six sense bases, which is actually, I would say, easier for everybody because it's something that you can see. When we talk about this, so let us see which one is physical, which is, so okay, we are talking about what is actually physical or material in Abhidhamma. Okay, so we just highlight with this color. Okay, so we have the sense door. All the sense door is considered as, okay. So the idol, is actually physical. Ear door also physical. Nose, tongue, body is physical. Right? So all these are easy for you to see because you don't need to think. You can see your eyes, you can see the eyes in others, you can see your ear, you can see the ear of others, you can see you got the nose and other also got nose. And then tongue, you can see your tongue and you can feel the body. So I would say all these are very easy, very logic. Even a child can practice the contemplation of the eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body. Right? Now, in terms of object, it's also easy, right? So lupa sight means that anything like color or form, like you see a flower, color of the flower, form of the flower. This is very, very easy for you to contemplate. Sound also easy. You hear the sound, and then smell also easy. Taste also easy. Either like we call it sweet, sour, and so on. Tangibility or touching also easy. All right. So all these are physical. You can practice easy. Now in Dharma, there are many things here. But in terms of you got the base and you got the object. So when you combine, you remember we last week we talked about cause and effect. I kind of like rewind because a few of them didn't come last week, right? Because I'm busy with the Chinese New Year. Now, when we talk about vipassana, you need to know what is cause and what is effect because this is one of the important practice. So you need to know cause and effect. So this cause and effect in vipassana, we call it the causality, all right? The theory of causality in Buddhism. In Buddhism, we don't have not single cause to single effect, all right? In Buddhism, it is actually multiple causes to single effect. Even sometimes multiple causes to multiple effects also. Okay. All right. So you have the few causes here. So the eye with the object and then the effect will be eye consciousness. Then the ear and sound, ear consciousness. Nose and smell, nose consciousness. Tongue and taste, tongue consciousness. Body and tangible object. So it's body consciousness. Sometimes if you don't want to use the word eye consciousness, you can use the word seeing consciousness. All right. Then the ear, you call it hearing. All right. Short form. Nose, smelling. Tongue is a tasting. Okay. Sometimes body, you use the word instead of body consciousness, you could call it touching consciousness. Yeah. But I think body consciousness is better. All right. And then the last one has many things in them. All right. So among these, the easier one will be for all these physical. So when you practice the contemplation of six sense basis, you should try to contemplate on the idea of cause and effect. And many causes give to many effects. And try to focus on these five first because they are easy for you. So every time you see something, you know, then the seeing process take place. When you hear something, hearing process take place. When you smell something, then smelling consciousness or smelling process take place. Tongue and taste, body, and so on. So you should see like this. And this for you to understand the idea of causality. This is very important because in some of the region, okay, in some of the other regions, sometimes they believe in the like single cause, right? Single cause means that they believe in the idea of God or small God. So the Buddhism reject them. We only believe the idea of multiple causes. And when you understand this, you understand the idea of non-self. Okay. So non-self that not to say everything must see anicca. You also can see non-self without seeing the anicca. But it's not easy, but at least you can try to see causality and you can get the idea of non-self. Okay, so far any question?
Saya Ji,
Hmm?
saya Ji. Just now
Yes,
saya
yes.
I watched the video the YouTube on the previous lesson.
Okay.
Okay. Then just now you said when you meditate, you must contemplate on the cause and effect.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
For example, let's say in our daily life, on not
Okay.
during sitting meditation, we see something.
Mm-hmm.
Do we actually stop and say, okay, this is seeing, and seeing arise because there's this I consciousness and there is the
Okay.
object. Is it like that?
All right. So, all right. For beginners, for those
Mm.
who are not skillful, of course, I mean, we all can use our logic, right? You all can say,
Yeah.
okay, okay, I'm seeing something. You don't need to think I'm seeing, even a child, a dog. Also, for example, a dog sees something. Do they see something? Yes,
Yeah,
right?
of course. Mm.
But what's the difference between a dog seeing and our seeing? Have you
Maybe
think about that?
maybe the dog seeing is like us seeing without knowing that
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
right, right.
consciousness,
Yes,
without
yes,
knowing that
yes.
there is this
They don't have
object.
the interaction, right? So when they
Mm.
see something,
They just
they will
see.
not understand cause and effect. They just see something. So we have very cute here. We have four puppies. They're running around. So they see people give the food, they will run, but they don't have the intelligence. So when you learn Abhidhamma, the 89 consciousness, this one we call it with the knowledge. So it's very important for us to practice vipassana. And the reason why do we practice vipassana is for us to arouse this knowledge, right? So at first when you meditate, you need to purposely or train yourself. I will use the word train yourself, okay? To say, oh, this is seeing, you see something, okay, eye consciousness arise. So you need to train yourself again, 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 until next time your automatic ding, 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 it come out by itself. It will become a real knowledge. All right. For example, say you got fire, right? Have you touched the fire before with your hand or
Yes.
purposely? Do you need to think it's very hot?
After first time, no need to think.
Yeah, after the first time, right? Because you
Mm.
learn already, right? So
Yeah.
before that, do you maybe from a very child you don't know it's dangerous, but unless you are being burned by the fire, then automatically the knowledge exists maybe for this lifetime. You don't need to. Do you need to test yourself again?
No need.
No need.
No need.
Unless you want to test yourself. You don't need to test because you realize that the fire is
Hot.
dangerous, right? Yeah. So you have the knowledge already. But for Vipassana, you need to train yourself up to that level. Everything you see something, oh, it's cause and effect. You it's like the idea is now the idea is not clear. So you have because of like Brother Cole is talking with us, it's like the delusion, no? Great hatred delusion. So you need to train again and again until every time you just kind of like close your eyes, even without close your eye, it's like fuck. Okay, cause and effect.
So,
Okay.
Saiji,
Mm-hmm.
let's say we look at a rose.
Yeah. Okay.
There will be many type of reactions,
Okay.
many types of feelings. But if I look at a rose as a rose,
All right.
I need not be attached to it.
Are you
I
sure?
look at, is that the way?
Yeah. Even though we might not get attached to it, but we always like it because rose is a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
Do,
Yeah.
do you see? You try to see your response. Okay, between seeing a rose and a don't say cow dung lah. Cow dung is actually not so nice because cow dung is not so bad because cow dung is very useful to us, as a farmer. Have you seen like which one on the road, like the dog dung, What's the
Um,
relationship? What's the relation
Protection
in you? A reaction when you see the flower and a dung,
and a done.
something very dirty. You when you notice it, if you can notice it, then you understand the working of the mind. Here because here I have planted my flowers. Okay. I know when I see a flower, my mind is different. So I got a cat. She live on the roof. So she refused to come down. So she will urinate outside my corridor. So every day I really have to use a pool of water, go and pour out the clean out the corridor, you know. So I was noticed my mind, the cat had done it again. All right. So
I understand.
automatically the reaction is there. Of course, we need to train ourselves to be like the Buddha said, the Arahant. When you see something, there's no response. It's not that Arahant does not have sense like us. No, they have a lot of sense, but they manage to control themselves that there no greed, hatred, delusion will arise anymore because they have no more ignorance. Okay. So in short, yes, we purposely have to train yourself. That's why in Vipassana, why do you have to do repeatedly walking? Don't you know how to walk? Do you know how to walk or not? Macy? Do you know how to walk before
Walk,
Vipassana?
walk with the mind on the foot.
Yeah. But I mean, before you come for Vipassana, do you know how to walk as a baby, as a child?
Oh
Yes, right?
no, oh definitely. Just
Definitely.
just
So,
walk.
so why do you need to train yourself to walk? What's the difference between Vipassana walking and then the normal walking?
Normal walking, you just walk, you don't care, you don't care, you
Yeah,
don't put your
that's the
mind
idea,
there.
right? Yeah. Your mindfulness is not there, right? So that's the idea. When we practice Vipassana, we actually, and why we need to do certain thing again and again is to sharpen our knowledge, which is not sharp, it's very blunt. It's very blunt. It's like we have a knife we throw on the road. So being after a while it become wet with the land drop or whatever. It become very spoiled. So we need to sharpen it again and again. Okay, so even the contemplative 610 basis, in theory, everybody know, right? But if is your mindfulness at that level? Every time you say, okay, cause and effect, non-self, non-self, non-self. The idea, if your non-self is 100%, you become Arahant. You no need to come to Zoom online already lah. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Saji.
All right. Okay. Next question. Anybody?
Hi,
Before I
Ajay.
continue.
Wait you here. See,
Okay.
sometimes we read causes and conditions. So the conditions also part of causes. Yeah. Oops.
Okay. So, sorry, can you
When we
say your
say
question? Yeah.
sometimes
Yes.
we read in the text causes and conditions. So the
Mm-hmm.
conditions are part of causes,
Or you are
or they
talking
are
about the
different things.
terms.
Yeah.
Causes and condition, they are same thing, but they use the different English. Actually in Pali, is either use the word, let's say in terms of like working on karma, karma will be the cause and condition. The result will be vipaka. Okay, in terms of karma. So in terms like all these vipassana, then they will be like hetu is the cause, but sometimes they translate the word with the condition. Okay, all right. For example, okay, just to give a simulating like just now, when you want to hear something, what is the cause? What is the condition? Are they same? Right? There will be eye, there will be the sight, there will be the light, there will be the attention. So cause and condition actually quite same. But it's also depend how we use the English, right? Because there are many ways we can use the English. But it's better sometimes is some people, some of the scholar they like to use the word cause. Sometimes they use the word use the word condition. Okay, right. But in terms of working of karma, karma is always translated as action. So action and result. That's another way we see. Okay, action and result. Karma is actually a cause. Karma is actually a condition. But we don't use cause and condition. We use the word action for karma. All right. Okay. Right. Okay. Thank you. Next question.
Sayaji, this is Shinling.
Yeah.
For
Can you
cause and
turn on
effect.
video?
Okay. For
Yeah.
cause, for cause and effect, no, the effect can also become a cause of subsequent cause and effect. Okay.
Yes. It's that's why in Buddhism, it's actually we call it a chain, a chain is like one link to another and another one link to another. That's why when we say the samsara, okay, previous life is the cause and this life is the result. This life is the cause and next life, we still have the next life. So for the next life, this is the result. So everything is how's the word? Intertwine, linking with each other. So that's why even when the Buddha say the idea of causality is very huge, the idea of karma also very complicated. It's not that you say 1-to-1. When you point at one, it's because of one. Even like you want to eat mango, all right, Shini, for example, I will ask you a question. If you want to eat mango, what is the condition for you to eat the mango?
I
Okay.
need to peel it, cut it.
All right, you need to peel it, cut it. So before that, you need to buy it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now what if now, it's now the mango season, right? It's the mango season now in Malaysia?
Yes,
Don't
yes.
know.
Yes, okay, you don't know. Yes, it's mango season. Now, the mango season, I think, will start on, I think, March, because now I have planted about 20 mangoes trees here, so they are flowering, so it's very nice to see. All right, so if you want to eat mango, there must be mango tree produce the mango, right? So if you want to eat mango at the end of December, at that time, no mango already, unless the country import from other country, right? So if you want to eat mango, there must be a condition for you to eat the mango, right? You have to think about that. Now, for you to eat rice, where is the rice? Does Malaysia have enough rice for all the population?
Not enough.
No, not enough.
Okay, so where do you import from?
Thailand.
Thailand, Myanmar,
Oh,
Vietnam,
Vietnam,
Indonesia,
Pakistan.
Pakistan. All right. So one day, if something wrong or something happen, do you think Malaysia will have enough rice?
No.
No. Okay. So to eat rice, there must be condition. That's why actually, if you think about it, so after a while, if your mind also can get very pessimistic, wow, to eat rice also so difficult. And finally, to eat rice, you must think that you must have money. All right. Unless you want to be a Buddhist monk and nun lah, then you no need to work. But if you, what's the purpose of you to work? To have money to buy a rice. Okay. So imagine like COVID, everything can stop, but minimally you need rice. Without rice, you cannot make your stomach feel full, right? To eat something also must have many conditions. So if you can think about that, you can understand about non-self. But if you are not skillful, when you think too much, sometimes you feel you will get depression also, because you can see everything in a bad way, right? Okay, next question. We continue. Any question? No more?
Saiji,
Yes, Badako.
this to me, I find that the five senses is a bit difficult to observe because when I see object, I'll stop at the object. I don't see the cause, and I don't really see the condition until later on when I think about it or reflect on it, or somehow the memory comes up. Then only I saw the cause and condition. But when I observe my mind, I find that somehow I can see the feeling arises. And then after that, it more or less subsides. But I couldn't see the cause nor condition. It's just that there's a link that I
All right.
and that sort of
Yeah,
feeling.
I know you can go for mind level, but you still have to come back to this body, physical body level. Because out of the six sense, we got six, right? You cannot just skip the number 5 and go for the number 6, right or not?
Yes.
Okay. So how to practice it? This is why people go for Vipassana training, where you just walk, when, like I got one disciple, she's she said the first time when people see somebody doing the Vipassana walking, they thought they are walking like zombie. You know why?
Yeah.
Because why do they walk so slow? Why they behave like robot? Or of course now we use the word robot, right? Or maybe the children will say robot, but what we see for us at our age, we see them walking like zombie, like walk so stiff. Why they go like that? Because when they go and slow and do repeated action on same thing, then it allows the time for the mind to focus on something happen right at this moment. Okay? Because normally we walk very fast. You don't notice your left or right, right? And when we are doing the standing meditation, you can stand there and observe how the sound come in. So doing standing meditation is very good to do the contemplation of 6 bases, because you can see how your eyes see something, your ears hear something, and then nose smell something, right? So sometimes it's good for go for mind level, but I said just now we got 6 sense spaces. You need to go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Okay,
But then
so next,
I tend to go towards mechanical. That means, okay, for example, if you're walking, then it becomes very mechanical. The labeling becomes mechanical, and then it seems that the rhythm picks up.
no, because you are not interested in there. That's why you need to change your mind, from your boring mind. Even this, I say, sometimes when we walk, your mind feel bored. You have to stop walking. At that point in the middle, you have to stop walking and contemplate that boring mind until you can see that boring mind also disappear. Then you understand, oh, we call it the monkey mind. Your monkey mind is cheating you, right? You try to say, so boring, go back home lah. That kind of things. All right. Okay, so I will
Thank you.
continue. Okay, thank you. All right, so I just continue. Okay, now we still on this because I noticed that during the Chinese New Year, a lot of people not come, so I will devise some of the facts. All right. So just focus on this one because they are easy to see. All right. So try to see the causes, and after that, automatically you will see all this. For the mind, yes, you can note many types of mind. For example, we have the angry mind, hatred mind. Of course, diluted mind is not easy to note, but whatever mind you should note. And there are many things inside all the other things. Okay. Now we already talked about the condition for seeing. So I'll kind of go first because revise because some of you not coming last week. Okay. So good eye sensitivity as a sense base. You got the object. When we see something, what we see actually is form, like a form of a man, woman, a dog. Now, from very far, you know it's a dog. Why? Because it looks like a dog. From very far, you know it's male. Why? Because the form is there. So after that, there will be color, For example, you see a red color from very far, bright, then you know it's a fire. Okay? So that's what things happen to our mind. And the light is a medium. And attention means that you pay the attention. Right? Then the effect is the eye questions take place. And
sorry, Angie, can I ask a question about
okay.
the eye? Okay,
Shinin, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Just now you mentioned just only for the visible object, right? You mentioned about dog from the form. From far you see the shape like a dog, right? You know it's a dog.
Yeah.
This
Right.
part is perception also plays a part because if we totally do not know about the form of an object, right?
Yeah, right. Yes. Okay. That is under the 5 aggregates. Now we are talking about 6 sense bases. Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah.
Saiji.
Yes,
Saiji.
Brother Ko.
Yeah, this visible object, why is it sometimes they say that it's vana?
Sorry?
The visible object, they use vana,
Dwara.
the color, V-A-N-N-A.
V-A-N-N-A?
Yes.
Oh, Vana. You are talking about Vana.
Yes.
Vana is another Abhidhamma terms for the this one. The Vana is kind of like, Vana means appearance. It's actually Rupa or Vana. Okay. This another
I thought
terms in
vana is
Abhidhamma.
color, not color.
Vana also means appearance. For example, appearance of the people. So sometimes one Pali words can have few meanings, even a few things also can mean for example, when we say appearance, we also can use the word. I think hopefully, since they're not enough. Okay, never mind. Okay. So one also appearance is also color. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, if we lacking of any of this medium, so you come to the dark room, the first thing you switch on the light. All right. So if you lacking of any of the cause, this means that without lack of cause or lack of condition. So here cause and condition means same thing, and then you cannot see. All right. So that's why first thing you go to a dark room is you need to switch on the light. And then the ear, the sound, and then the space and attention, the nose, the smell, the wind, the attention. Like I say just now, when I have a diarrhea, I noticed that I got the nose, I got the smell, the wind breathe, attention, but there's no craving because I don't feel I want to eat something. And then the taste, the tongue, the taste, the saliva, and attention. And then the touching, Okay, body sensitivity except the dead one, that skin, the object, and attention. All right. So you can contemplate this just to get the idea of, we call it the cause, or use the word condition, and will give to the effect. All right. So this for us to understand the idea of non-self, or to understand that we call it the word everything is running. It is what I call it? According to its own nature. Okay, so we already go through some of them. This one. Okay, so now we finished on 11. Okay, so we go back to Visuddhimagga. So we finish on text on 11. Okay, so I will choose something I think is interesting and can be practiced, because there are many texts here. Okay, so we already previously discussed on this term, incurious and untrusted. All right, so it means that they don't have the energy. And some of the similarly, we already read this one. All right, 16. So let's go for, okay, now we are talking about 18 elements. Okay, somebody read first. Okay, we always start with, maybe we go for somebody not read before. Okay, Subang, you can read this one, 17. All right, Subang.
Yes, Sergi. The
Yeah.
elements next to that are the 18 elements, that is to say, eye element, visible data element, eye consciousness element, ear element, sound element, ear consciousness element, nose element, odor element, nose consciousness element, tongue element, flavor element, tongue consciousness element, body element, tangible data element, body consciousness element, mind element, mental data element, mind consciousness element.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So this 18 of them, all right. So this is part of the practice like we mentioned just now. So first you should go for 6 first, all right. Go for this 6, then you go for another 6. So sense base, or use the word do. So in Pali it's very nice, the word dwara. If you notice dwara, I think same like the English word do. You can see do and dwara is same. Okay, so object. So in Pali, the object we call it aramana. I think should be long A here. Aramana. Now, okay, the Pali word, just a kind of like teach you Pali. The root is ram, okay, to delight. So it's the mind. The mind will delight on the object. So the object gives you delight. So that's the meaning of sense object. And then after that, you got this. So totally 6 plus 6 plus 6 sense consciousness. So this one we call it 18 elements, right? Okay, so 12 plus 8. So you got the door, you got the object here. Then you plus, so we call it 18 elements like you mentioned just now, all right? Like Subang mentioned. So this one is good to practice in meditation. It's also very interesting for you to practice. Go 6 plus 6 plus 6. So easy, 18. Okay, now this is what paragraph 17 is trying to tell us. Okay, now 19, 20. This is actually talking about, they are trying to explain in terms of Pali, so we can just skip it. So, okay, I think this one is also can. Okay, maybe we read this 20, somebody. Okay, Rushan, can you read 20? Rushan.
The mundane sorts elements, when defined according to their instrumentality, sort out vidahanti, the suffering of the round of rebirths, which is of many kinds, just as the sorts of gold and silver, etc., do gold and silver and so on. They assort with living beings as a burden does with the burden bearers. They are born is the meaning, and they are only mere sorting out of suffering because no master is exercisable over them, and by means of them as instruments, the suffering of round of rebirths is continually being sorted out by living beings, and that suffering is being sorted out in this way is caused to be sorted into those elements. It is caused to be placed in them is the meaning. So each thing among those beginning with the I is called a sort. In the meaning just stated, beginning it sorts out, it assorts well.
Thank you. So actually, this is just some definition of the Pali, all right? So yeah, let me see how to highlight. Okay, so it's just trying to give you try to explain distant dhatu, and then it's trying to say that there's something about suffering of rebirth, and then to do with living human beings, and then like it's a burden. Okay, then also suffering. Actually, the idea is just talking about suffering and then the rebirth and so on. Okay, so not so interesting, but at least you get the idea that talking about suffering and rebirth being with the human beings, living beings, because of no mastery and so on and so on. Okay, this one not important. I think the next one is important. So this one. This one is more important. Okay, so the elements dhatu, because they call a state on individual essence. The word dhatu, we call it the elements in English, individual essence to be born. All right, so this is more important. So if people ask you, what is the meaning of these elements or dhatu? Okay, so according to, we call it the Pali definition just now. So it means that it's talking about something. All right, so you can use the word simple English. Okay, bear is on individual characteristic or essence, right? So this one means that dhatu, in a way you think about, is like that's why they use the word elements, like in physics. These terms also to do with the physics, like water element, earth element, right? So water element will have, like, for example, when we talk about water element, what is the water element look like? Cool, okay, cold. Fire element is hot, right? Okay. Now, for example, ear element. Okay, you got ear element. What's the function? Nose element. Now, when we talk about 18 dhatu or 18 elements, so we don't use the word base anymore. So you talk about eye, ear element. You use the word element. So nose and so on. And then when you talk about the sight, we call it the visible object. Okay, maybe element also. So then you got the sound element. Nose, you got the smell element, right? So it was like this. So instead of the word object or whatever base, we use the word element. So everything have their own essence. So that's why when you're noting the vipassana, like when you note the sound, what is the essence of the sound? So for example, water is cool, fire is hot. Okay, so you have to think for a while. All right, what is the nose? What's the essence? Nose means it can detect the smell. Okay, and then the smell will be certain, like certain smell that you can smell it. For example, I think sound element is very more easy. What's the things about sound? It's like to be heard. Okay, so you will like impinge sound and so on. Right. So we can look at some more. I think the text will mention more. Right. So later. Okay, now general elements used for the what we call aggregate. So even aggregate is just a kind of like general terms here. So like I element, all these are more individual, right? Okay, I think 22 is more interesting for us. Right. Shimin. Okay, Shimin, you can try read 22. This one. Shimin.
Yes. Furthermore, element is a term for what is soulless and for the purpose of abolishing the perception of soul, the Blessed One accordingly taught the elements in such passages as Bhikkhu, this man has 6 elements. Therefore, the exposition should be understood here firstly as to meaning thus it is an I and that is an element, thus it is the I element. It is my consciousness and that is an element, thus it is my consciousness element.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the key point is soulless. So elements means that soulless, and the purpose is to abolishing the perception of soul, the Blessed One, accordingly taught. So you can see all this in this one. M is the Majjhima Nikaya. Right, so it's good for Visuddhimagga. You also can get to know the sound of the sutta here. So I'll just copy this. Okay, so the first thing is, right, so why do we want to learn about these elements? So for we want to know about anatta, soulless means the word is anatta, okay, non-self. So same with non-self. And perception, right? What is because we always have the perception is self, means that what is perception of self? So perception of self, the Buddha explained in 3 ways. Is like we think there's I, there's my, okay. There's a one we call it the soul or self. So this is the perception we think I'm always here, okay. This is my thing. This thing belong to my. So my means my property, like my car, my property, my house, my body. And there's a self or soul here, all right? So that's the perception of self, perception of this soul. So the Buddha want you to know about anatta, want you to abolish the self. So that's why the Buddha teach in the 18 elements, okay? Okay, there are some more. So according to Visuddhimagga, you can see in terms of characteristic, in terms of order. All right. Now, characteristic means it's like the base, like just now the eye. What is the characteristic of the eye and so on, right? So this one is given in the characteristic of when you learn Abhidhamma, we go detail in the eye characteristic and so on. So we just skip it now. And order, like why do Buddha teach in certain way? Why he start with the eye, start with the ear and the nose, all right? And the order is because he want to show you the successive definition of cause and fruit. For the I element and the visible data are the cause, and I consciousness element is the fruit. So I element and visible data here means that is the cause. I consciousness is the effect. All right. So that's why the Buddha want to teach in that way. So this one is important, right? So we know the purpose already, and the order means that, okay. So like just now I mentioned, the Buddha is actually want us to know what is cause and effect. That's why the Buddha preach in certain ways. So if you look at all the sutta, the Buddha will start with I, then start with the visible object. Okay. So what is trying to say here is that you can see, right? For example, the Buddha will say the eye, the visual object, the ear, the sound, the nose, the smell. So the Buddha can teach in this way, or the eye, visible object, and then the eye consciousness. So the order is different. Or sometimes the Buddha say eye, ear, nose, tongue, body is another order. But the certain order of teaching is for us to understand the cause and effect. Okay, are you clear about this point? Any question? For this, there's a purpose of, we call it the order of teaching. All right, this is called the order of teaching by the Buddha. Any question for this word, order of teaching? Okay, if no question, I'll continue. So that's why the Buddha, when he preached the Dhamma, he preached in certain way. So he preached in the order of teaching means that he will teach in a certain way for you to realize the truth. That's why many people, they listen to Buddha's teaching and can become enlightened, because the Buddha actually guide them how to meditate at time. Right? And here in Sutta and Abhidhamma, beside the 18 elements, if you calculate here, we have many, right? So there are, I think, more than 20 or 30 or 40 elements. So then the Visuddhimagga actually trying to show you all the possible elements is mentioned in the Vibhanga, Abhidhamma. In the D is a Dika Nikaya, long length discourse. M is the middle length discourse from other books. So if you combine, I think if you calculate, there are more than 20, 30 or 40. All right. So that's the meaning of S to just much. But this is not important unless you want to be a very good Tipitaka scholar. Okay, so we can just skip it. Okay, this is not important yet. Okay. Okay, we read this one. This one more good. Right. Somebody. Okay, next person who not read before. Yeah. I think Pui Liu, you can read this one. Pui Liu, yeah, 32.
Furthermore, they are stated as 18 for the purpose of eliminating the kind of perception to be found in those who perceive a soul in consciousness, the individual essence of which is cognizing. For there are beings who perceive a soul in consciousness, the individual essence of which is cognizing. And so the Blessed One, who was desirous of eliminating the long inherent perception of a soul, has expounded the 18 elements, thus making evident to them not only consciousness multiplicity, when classed as eye, ear, nose, tongue, and body consciousness elements, and mind consciousness elements, but also its impermanence, which is due to its existing independence on I, come, visible data, etc. as conditions.
Okay, from here, do you understand? Pui Liu? What can you answer? Yeah.
Yeah, the Buddha is trying to find a way to sort of eliminate the long inherent perception that there is a soul or there's a self. So he teaches us the 18 elements so that we can sort of analyze things right down to such detail, so that we can say, hey, actually there's no self. It's all made up of this eye, ear, nose, mind, and the impermanence of it. So
Yeah, all
everything
right.
is subject to something else.
Yeah, all right. Because everything depends on condition or cause, like just I mentioned, right? And somebody, they may also this thing, right? So perceive a soul in consciousness. What's the meaning of this perceive in the soul in consciousness? Can you just analyze some more? What's the meaning of this specific term?
Meaning that this person thinks like that there is a soul, a permanent
In
soul.
consciousness.
In
In
consciousness.
consciousness only.
In consciousness. No.
What's the meaning? What's the meaning in
awareness?
consciousness? Okay. All right. Now the thing is, okay, the first point is, of course, the Buddha is trying to, like just now, the perception. Okay, but why is it in the consciousness? Is it not to say in the body or whatever? All right. So this is the first point that we should know. Another point is impermanence, right? Because everything is based on, we call it depend on condition, all right? So these two. Okay. Because there are people who think that the soul in consciousness, right? Okay, because okay, like I think some people they do not think the soul in the body, but they think the soul in the consciousness. Can you see the difference? Will you?
Oh, okay. Since Sayaji bring
Okay.
this up, perceive a soul in consciousness as opposed to perceive a soul in body. Is it?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, because why
okay.
you say the opposite soul? Yeah, because why? You know, everybody will know, right? So after we pass away, so what we do? Okay, people. So we pass away. Well, okay, we leave our body, right? So people we see only you leave the body. So people believe that your mind, goes to next life, right? So they believe that your mind is the soul, right? That's a Christian idea. Okay. Okay. Now, okay, come back to here. Right. So here because we are talking about the idea of soul, self. So we also have to know the difference between Buddhism or Dhamma with other religion, right? So here we say everything is impermanent non-self, suffering non-self. So when we pass away, of course, we leave the body. Everybody can see the body is being burned. The mind also no more. But what brings to next life, when you learn Abhidhamma, it's very interesting. It's the karma. The force of karma will cause another mind and matter, nama rupa, in the next life. Okay, but if if you are good in vipassana, you also notice that at every moment your nama rupa arise, pass away, arise, pass away. This means it's not one seeing consciousness. There are many seeing consciousness arise, pass away, arise, pass away. Okay, but people don't see that. They only see the body that been burned. The body you can let go. Everybody can let go the body, but a lot of people still cling to the idea of our soul is in the mind, or our soul is in the consciousness. Even in certain part, in some of the Buddhism, not Theravada. Well, if they are Theravada, they will not believe in soul. But some of people, they say they are Buddhism, but they also believe the soul. When they pass away, they go to the Western paradise. Okay, so this means that it still have the idea of soul. They leave the body in this life, the body being burned, not cremate. Nowadays, the land is so expensive. So being burned, so the soul in the consciousness go to the next life. So that's why the idea of self is there in the consciousness. It's not in the body. Okay, Padu, do you understand this?
Oh, okay. A bit.
Okay, all right. Okay, so if no question, I'll continue. All right.
Saiji,
So this one is yes, Brother Ko. Yes.
can I
You want me to
interpret
show you show the screen again? Yeah. Yes.
can
Okay.
I interpret it this way that
Mm-hmm.
there are people who believe that the consciousness is something permanent and it moves from one life to another life. That's what is perceived as a soul.
Impermanent or permanent? They believe impermanent or permanent, the consciousness.
Permanent. That means the consciousness
Yeah.
actually moves
They
from
believe
one life to
consciousness
another.
is the soul. They believe the mind is permanent. So it's actually now that's why the Buddha asks us to contemplate the 18 elements for you to point out where's your soul, where's your mind. Okay? Do you get the idea?
Yeah, but because the consciousness is actually very subtle, it is more of what you call it's not easy to actually realize it, but more of
Yeah, that's why, because it's very subtle, so we must start with the physical one. Out of the 18 elements or 12 bases, we have to start with the physical one because the physical one is more gross, right? Until you are very skillful, then you go for very subtle one. Okay?
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So if you jumping I would call it jumping the steps, then after that you still have to fall back to the basic one. Okay. So we in Vipassana, what are we doing? We just stand there and note the sound, the sound, the sound. This is how we do, the sound, the sound, the sound, the ear, the ear, ear. We just note and note and note and note. That's why people who don't understand Vipassana look from very far, you all like behave like zombie lah. Zombie or robot. Last time we used the word zombie. Now the children, they don't see the zombie. They say you behave like a robot. You press one button, you move. You press another button, you move. Sometimes when we go for Dhamma talk, previously we go to Seremban. Seremban, last year we go to Seremban, and then they ask the Sahaja Agawati to talk with children. The children nowadays, what do they ask? When the robot do the Panati Pata, what happened? Because the robot to the children, the robot is like human, right? Yeah. When the robot, they kill somebody, do they have panati pata? They ask this kind of question. So the terms we use nowadays is different. So last time we used that, oh, when we are practicing vipassana, it look like you are behaving like zombie, you know, because when we see 僵尸, you know, dong dong bong bong bong. But what's the purpose of walking so slow and you just standing there like statue? So for us to not the things happen, so we don't move around, because the moment you move around, you lost some samadhi. Okay. And you have to note all the 18 elements or 12 bases until you can see the idea of non-self. It's not easy, non-self, because the idea of self is already exists so long. Even you can let go the body, but we still attach to the self in the consciousness. Okay, it's also not easy. And then why? Because the moha lah, you know, you hear the Dhamma talk now, then you go back. After a while, the idea of self come back again, you know. That's why they say, there's a story. They say somebody, I heard somewhere, you know, the mother, she closed the door, closed the window, and then she turned on the aircon. She sit in the aircon room, and then she very, very happy. She said, may I be very happy? May I be very happy? May all the beings be very happy? You know, she radiate loving kindness to all. Then her children come, no, mommy, open the door. We want to go to buy something. And then she gets so angry. You know why? Because the idea itself is still there. You know, I want to practice loving kindness. I want to enjoy the loving kindness, you know. Therefore, the idea of self and soul is inherently, the Buddha said, from the beginning of samsara. Okay? Yeah. So we need a lot of time to practice. If you can practice, of course, you can become Arahant. No need to come to Zoom anymore, right? Okay, so we continue. You're going to finish already. So I actually skip a lot because I want to focus more on something that you all can practice. Okay, where are we? Okay, so I just already highlight this 32. So, and all this, that's why Visuddhimagga is not easy to understand, because all these are Abhidhamma point. All right, we can talk about some. If you heard about Patthana, so 35 is interesting. Is on Patthana point. Okay, next one to read will be, let's call somebody not read before. Ho, okay. Ho, you can read this one. 35.
35.
Yes.
Condition. The I element, firstly, is a condition in 6 ways, namely dissociation, pre-nascent.
Nascence. Yeah.
Nascent.
Should be nascent. Yeah. Yeah.
Nascent, present, non-disappearance, support, and faculty.
Faculty. Yeah.
Faculty.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go to next page. Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. This one for the I. You can continue. Yes.
Consciousness element. The visible data element is a condition in 4 ways, namely present, and
Present. Yeah.
An object for the eyes consciousness element. Similarly, with the eye element, ear element, and the sound element for the ear, consciousness element, and so on.
Okay, thank you. All right, so this is about the idea of Patthana. I think you all heard about Patthana, right? So we have 24 conditions. So how does the I element support for the ear consciousness element? So let me copy this. So if you want to go even deeper into the causality, so you need to go for Patthana. So you will learn Patthana also in diploma, but not so deep, because there's a basic level. If I'm going to explain all the numbers and chart you, I think you all run away very fast. Yeah. Okay, now I element for the I consciousness element. Remember, I element is the cause. Okay, I consciousness element is the effect. All right. So for the cause to give, to give to the effect here. Of course, here we are talking about I element all the way to the I consciousness. So we have out of the patana, okay? Remember patana, we have 24 conditions. Out of 24 conditions, we only got this association. Okay. Then you have this pre-nascence. Pre-nascence means born earlier, all right? Pleasant. This is the word ati in Pali, yeah. So I just copy here. Non-dependent and support and faculty. So this is another way if you want to go deeper. It's interesting to learn actually, Abhidhamma. Okay, now the word disassociation. Disassociation means that like we call it the mind and mind is associated. Okay, so now I element is a lupa, right? It's a material. So I consciousness is the mind. So they are not associated with each other. So we call it disassociation. So here between the lupa means the I to I consciousness. So they are disassociated. Now, born earlier means that your I is born earlier before I consciousness. So if you want to see the something, if the I consciousness arise, the I must appear earlier. Okay. So now, if you want to see the I, for the I consciousness to arise, the I must be there. All right. Must be there. All right. And then the I must not disappear. So if something happened to your eyes, you cannot see. So the I must not disappear. So you can see the support means the I gives support to the I consciousness. And then faculty, so you have the I is a faculty. I faculty is also giving support and so on. So that's if you want to contemplate in terms of patana. So patana is very interesting teaching also. Okay, so this just to share to you how you want to contemplate all the way like Sariputra, who is very wise, all the way to see the patana. And that's why the Visuddhimagga text is not easy if you have to go and digest all a lot of information here. So let me see, all these are patana, mental element, condition, how many ways. This is when you study advanced Abhidhamma, you will learn all this. But now for theory is also good. Okay, now some more. All right, this condition will explain in the dependent origination, chapter number 17. Okay, so we just skip. I think the rest are not so important here. Okay, 41 is interesting. Okay, 41 is normally they will also give you some simile. So somebody read 41. Quạt Ngô, you can read this one, 41. Quạt Ngô. Okay. Okay, Quạt Ngô no very well. Okay, so we go for Wong. Do you want to read Wong? Yeah, 41.
Okay, I'll try Sayaji.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. Individually, however, the I element should be regarded as the surface of a drum, the individual data element as the drumstick, and the I consciousness element as the sound. Likewise, the I element should be regarded as the surface of a looking glass, the visible data element as the face, and the I consciousness element as the image of the face. Or else, the I element should be regarded as sugarcane or sesame, the visible data element as the sugarcane meal or the sesame veal rod, and the I consciousness element as the sugarcane juice or the sesame oil. Likewise, the I element should be regarded as the lower fire stick, the visible data element as the upper fire stick, and the I consciousness element as the fire. So too, in the case of the year and so on.
Okay, thank you. So all these are just
you.
some simile, you know. For example, the eye, you compare with the drum. The visible data with the drumstick. So when the drumstick hit the drum, then the result will be eye consciousness. It arises as a sound. So if no drumstick, not the chicken drumstick, the drumstick and then the drum, when they hit each other, then the sound. In no hitting, there's no sound. So the sound is this sound is just it's just a kind of like simile, not to say really it's the sound is not the object here. The eye consciousness is the object here, right? I think the next one is better. This one is better. Okay. Sometimes because they are using some of the things that we never think about it. Yeah. So we copy this one. Okay. This is, I think, recently I listened to Dhamma talk by the Sayadaw Dr. Nandamala. I'm transcribing his book. So now, eye is a looking glass. All right. The data is the face. Eye consciousness element is the image. All right. So when you see yourself in a mirror, it's like this example. So the real one that, not to say the real one, but the one solid you can see is the eye and then the visible data. The image appear is like consciousness, which is very subtle, you know, not easy to say. So this is the best example. So you can think about that. All right. The eye element, looking glass. The visible data, the face. Eye consciousness is the result here, is the image of the face. So this is the best one. Then the other example, because they are talking about the sugar cane mirror, I think you all never see in your life. I also never see. This one, sometimes I go to different part of Myanmar, I might see this one. But some of the simile is not easy for us because we don't see in Malaysia. You know. Okay, and then there are another one, 42, right? So we can just, all these are example here. Okay. So we are going to end already. So, okay, we just read 42. Okay, somebody read. Then we finish. Doris Chi. Yeah.
Yes, saya. Yes, saya G.
Okay, yes.
42. The mind element, however, should be regarded as the forerunner and follower of eye consciousness, etc., as that arises. As to the mental data element, the feeling aggregate should be regarded as a dart and as a stake. The perception and formations aggregate as a disease, owing to the connection with the dart and the stake of feeling. Or the ordinary man's perception should be regarded as an empty fist because it produces pain through disappointed desire, or as a forest deer with a scarecrow because it apprehends the sign incorrectly. And the formations aggregate should be regarded as men who throw one into a pit of hot coals because they throw one into rebirth linking, or as thieves pursued by the king's men because they are pursued by the pains of birth, or as the seeds of a poison tree because they are the root cause of the aggregate's continuity, which brings all kinds of harm. And materiality should be regarded as a razor wheel because it is the sign of various kinds of danger. The unformed,
okay, you can read. Where are you? Oh, you can read 43 here. This is 43. This one can skip. Yeah, 43 here. Yeah.
The mind consciousness element should be regarded as a forest monkey because it does not stay still on its object, or as a wild horse because it is difficult to tame, or as a stick flung into the air because it falls anyhow, or as a stage dancer because it adopts the guise of the various defilements such as greed and hate.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
okay,
thank
now
you,
the
Sai.
simile. Thank you. This one is talking about 5 aggregates, all right? The simile for the 5, because this chapter also covers 5 aggregates. So this 43, I think more good if you're talking about the mind. So you all
Yes.
heard about the wild monkey. Yeah, so this is the one, all right?
Mm.
So actually, I think the terms also happen in Tipitaka, right? This one, because wild monkey, it does not stay in the object, or wild horse, because it's very difficult for you to control it because of the stick. When you flung a stick, this is also in terms of Apita, right? You notice that it just exists for some time before you fall down. Another one, all right? Stage dancer, pretentious, yeah. Okay, so this sound the simile here. Okay. All right. So today is kind of revision, but you're also trying to tell us so what we do is 6 sense basis, then you note the 6 sense object, then you go for the 6 sense consciousness. So you got 6 and 6 and 6, you got 18 elements. So how you know that is sometimes when you have nothing to do, your eyes is tired looking at the computer. Sometimes I look at computer whole day, also feel very tired. So I go to upstairs. I have a meditation room. You can see it's really upstairs. So because our place is in a village, so I go there and I see the wind, enjoy the wind. So I not hearing. I not the eye seeing. So just spend few minutes doing the exercises. You see something, you're not seeing. So when you see a flower, you notice the response of flower to your mind. When you see like dog dung or something dirty, you notice how it gives reaction to your mind. Okay, and when you smell something, you also know it. So that's why recently I told you all that's why I'm happy lah. Not easy to lose weight, Sometimes at this age, near the 60 kg, how to reduce 60 kg, I also don't know. So recently diarrhea, I'm happy. Managed to lose about 2 kg. And then I noticed that at that time, I can smell, there's a smell, but actually there's no desire, because the object just come in and the condition is not there. So the hunger is not there, So it's not to say the 6 sense basis will disturb the mind. It depends on how we manage the mind. All right. Okay, final last question. And also the most importantly, as just mentioned, all the contemplation of 5 aggregate or 6 sense basis or 12 basis or 18 elements is for you to understand about non-self. And also understand about impermanence, because the sound, the smell, all this just very transient in nature. Okay, last question, we will finish. And I should invite somebody to do the sharing of merits, no? So you all get a practice also. Okay, no question then. Mengse, can you do the sharing of merits? Yeah,
Hold on, I get my
book. You have a nice office, yeah. All right, so I tell you all, I will be in Malaysia in May, so I will go for different center because most of you are not able to travel like me. So I hope you all join my some of the exercise like counseling, meditation, and Bali. For some of you join the Bali class, but some of you run away already from the Bali class. Okay, yeah, Misa, you can start now.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll start with the Punyanumodana.
Okay.
Akasata ca bummata devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditwa cirang rakantu lokasasanang. Akasata ca bummata devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditwa cirang rakantu dhamma desanang. Akasata ca bummata devanaga mahittika punyantang anumoditwa cirang rakantu mang parang. Transference of merits to the devas. Etawata ca ehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe dewa anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. To all spirits, Etawata ca ehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe buta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. To all beings, etawata ca ehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. To all departed ones, idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. And lastly, aspirations. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yawa nibbana patiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay. So, okay, we say, okay. So before we finish, so actually I would request you all to turn on the video because I noticed that we never turn on the video. There are a few reasons because one thing is about the Myanmar Wi-Fi is not good. But can you all turn on video? We take a good photo for New Year. All right. So yeah. So somebody try to help me take the screenshot. Because okay. Okay. Anybody help me take a screenshot of different face? Pui Liu, can you? Are you? Because my computer. Who know how to take screenshot? So let me try my computer. Anybody know how to take the screenshot? Brother Cole?
Yeah, Saji, I can do that.
Okay, you help me, please. Yeah.
Okay, we can get ready, yeah? Smile.
Okay, smile, yeah. Okay, Happy
Okay.
New Year. All right. Okay, thank you for joining this class. And next Friday, because I finished the Bali intermediate, so I'm happy also. So next Friday, 7:30, we'll start with Abhidhamma. It will be 2 hours in between maybe 10 minutes break. So it's much more on theory. It's not like this class. This class is much more on practice. So I would say these two classes supplement each other. One will be more on theory and this class will be more on practice. Okay. So remember Friday and this is still on Saturday. We still maintain this on Saturday. Unless I go to Malaysia, I will stop in May. Okay. So now we put the hand together and say Buddha Sasana Chiranta. Okay. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu. Buddha Sasanam Chiram Titatu. Okay, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, thank you for joining in. So I hope you all take the knowledge. Okay, today we also have some Abhidhamma knowledge. Take the knowledge, apply in your practice. It's very easy. Just spend few seconds or few minutes every day. Think about the sound, the smell, and so on. So if you don't want to do that, you also can do the 4 great elements like last time, like we mentioned that, or whatever the previous one. Or if you feel boring, you look at the tree, you see the wind moving, not the wind kasina. All right. Sometimes I feel boring and go and look at the tree. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye-bye. Okay.
Thank you, Sayaji.
Thank you, Sahaji.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you.